Hello, this is Sarah with Posh Pooch Designs, and today's video I'm going to show you how to make this little butterfly. It measures about, here's my measuring tape, it measures about, that's the wrong side, about 3 inches across and about 2.5 inches. And what it is it is a pin. It's a fun little butterfly made out of worsted weight number 4 yarn. And I added a little pin on the back. It looks like this. It's called a brooch pin. You can buy these at Hobby Lobby or Joann's or Michael's in bags of about 6 or 12. Now, the reason I chose to do a butterfly today and do it in teal is because the month of January is Hypothyroidism and Thyroid Cancer Awareness Month. And the thyroid, when it is not working properly, is often called the broken butterfly, and that's because the thyroid gland is shaped similar to a butterfly. And so, but you don't have to do this in teal. I'm just doing it in teal because that's the color that represents hypothyroidism and Hashimoto's. It's a fun little butterfly. You can put it on a hat, you can put it on a scarf, you can put it and just wear it on your dress or sweater or anything, and you don't have to add the little pin to the back, but I'm going to show you how to do that. And what we're going to be doing today is using worsted weight. This is I Love This yarn in the bright teal, worsted weight number 4. We'll be using our H hook, and you'll only need one of these pins. Now, if you don't have one of these pins, you can use a regular safety pin and just pin it on. And also, it's a great idea to do that because then you don't sew this on, and you might be able to use it for other things. It's up to you. Just an option. We are going to need our needle with a nice big eye for sewing and weaving in ends, and you'll need your pair of scissors. Now this takes just a small amount of yarn, and so if you want to practice, it's a great idea just to get whatever yarn you have on hand that's a leftover, worsted weight number 4, and just practice. You're going to find it's really simple. Now it does have chaining, single crochets, and we're also going to be doing a half double crochets, a double, and also 2 triples at the tops of the butterfly wings. But don't worry, I'll show you how to do all of those. It's really a simple butterfly pattern. This is a free pattern on my blog. It's in the notes under the video, so you can go and get that, and it is a picture tutorial as well. So grab you some yarn and let's get started. All right, let's go ahead and get started. We're going to do our slip knot. And then we're going to chain 7 chains. And then we're going to place a slip knot in that first chain. It's going to form a loop. We're going to go right in that first chain and pull that through, and then pull that loop through there. So now we have a loop that is 6 chains. And now we're going to chain 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And we're going to slip knot, a slip stitch, I don't know why I said slip knot, in that same chain that we did our last slip knot in. Slide it through and slide it through there. So now we have a loop of 6 chains and a loop of 9 chains. And we're going to chain 9 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, oops, lost that one, 8, 9. All right, pull out a little more yarn there. We're going to again make a slip knot in that same chain. So now we have 1 loop with 6 chains and 2 loops with 9. And so our last loop we're going to make is going to be 6 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we're going to go right in that same slip stitch and make a slip stitch. Right in that same chain and make a slip stitch. At this point, you will have 2 loops with 6 chains and 2 loops with 9 chains. And this is forming the body or the center foundation to make our butterfly. So the next step, what we're going to make is we're going to go right in this first loop of 6 chains, and we're going to make some single crochets. We're going to make 7 single crochets going through the loop, going right around. This is the first loop with 6 chains. We're going to place 7 single crochets. All right, let's see what we got here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's push them over a little and put 6 and 7. So now we have the 7 single crochets in our first chain 6 loop, and we're going to place a slip stitch going through that beginning chain and just slip stitch that. And now we're going to be working in the 2 big loops, and each of these 2 big loops we're going to be placing 9 single crochets. The 2 loops where we have 6 chains, we're placing 7, and the 2 loops where we have 9 single crochets, we're placing 11. 11 single crochets in the loop, and now we're going to make a slip stitch back in that center slip stitch, and then we're going to do 11 single crochets again. So we placed 7 single crochets in the first loop, and then we placed 11 single crochets in the next loop, and we placed 11 single crochets in the next loop. Now we're back to our 6th chain, so we're going to slip stitch in that same slip stitch, and then we're going to place 7 single crochets in that last loop. And then place one more single or slip stitch in that last spot so that it holds it down. And don't worry about that center. We're going to come back and clean that up when we're all done. And this is what your butterfly should look like at this point. Your 2 loops at the bottom will have 7 single crochets, and then your 2 loops at the top will have 11 single crochets. And this is what it should look like at this point. So instead of working in the loops like we did last row, we're going to be working in the actual stitches. And the way this row goes is we have these 7 single crochets for this first loop. So we're going to place 1 single crochet in the first one, 1 single crochet in the next one, and the next stitch we're going to place a half double crochet. The way you do that is you yarn over, go in your stitch, and pull up a loop. You'll have those 3 loops on there. You'll yarn over and go through all 3 of those loops. The next stitch we're going to be placing a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet in that same stitch. So double crochet, you're going to yarn over, go through that stitch. You'll have 3 loops on your hook the same way we did with half double, but we're going to yarn over and go through the first 2, yarn over and go through the second 2. We'll chain 1, and then we'll make another double crochet in that same stitch. Now the next stitch we're going to do a half double crochet like we did on the other side, and then we're going to end with 2 single crochets, 1 in each stitch. That's our first little butterfly wing. Now we're going to place a slip stitch in the slip stitch between those wings, and that's our first bottom. Now we're going to work on the 2 big butterfly wings. And again, we're stitching in the stitches, not the loop. And the way this one works is we're going to be stitching 1 single crochet in the first 2 stitches. Then we're going to place a half double crochet in the next 2 stitches. Then we'll place 1 double crochet in this next stitch. And the next stitch we're going to be stitching a triple crochet, chain 1, triple crochet. And the way we do that is we put 2 loops on our hook. We go in that stitch and pull up a loop. You'll have 4 stitches, or 4 loops, on your hook. Yarn over, go through the first 2, yarn over, go through the second 2, and yarn over and go through the last 2. We're going to chain 1, and we're going to place another triple crochet in that same stitch. So we're going to go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through the first 2, yarn over, go through the second 2, yarn over, go through the last 2. And now we're going to go back the way we came. We're going to place 1 double crochet in the next stitch. We're going to place 1 half double crochet in the next 2 stitches. And then we're going to place 1 single crochet in those last 2 single crochets. And at this point, we're going to go right in and do a slip stitch in between those 2 wings in that slip stitch. And that gives us our nice big wing. So we've made 1 big wing and we've made 1 small wing. And now we're going to repeat what we just did for this wing on the second wing. So we're going to begin with a single crochet, a single crochet, half double crochet, half double crochet, then a double crochet. Then we're going to do our triple, chain 1, and triple in the same stitch. Then a double crochet, half double, and whoops, some yarn there. Our last single crochet, and again slip stitch in that slip stitch from the previous row. And now we're going to do our last small wing. So I'm going to go ahead and get that single crochet done so you can see the 2 wings. Aren't they pretty? All right, so let's do that last one. And this last wing we do exactly the same way we did this small wing over here. So I've got 1 single already in there, and we're going to do another single and then a half. And then we're going to place a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet in the same stitch, then a half, and then 2 singles, 1 and 2. Now we're going to join again to that slip stitch with a slip stitch, and then I want you to chain 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And we'll snug that down, and we're going to tie off, leaving ourselves a little bit of yarn to work with, about 10 or 12 inches. Now your butterfly might be a little bit curly, so you may want to block it a little bit. But on this one I kind of left it a little bit curly because I kind of liked it. But it's up to you if you want to lay it out, moisten it down, and block it. Now at this point we're going to be using our pin, and we're also going to be using our needle. So let's go ahead and thread this onto our needle. And this chain here becomes the body of the butterfly. So we're going to wrap that around and take our needle and come right up at the bottom like this. And just give it a little snug pull. And you can see that it pulls through. You can wrap it again if you want to, and then bring it down the opposite direction. And that's going to hold your little body of your butterfly in place. Now we're going to turn our butterfly over, and I'm going to unthread this one and thread the short one on so I can weave that in. And we're just going to weave that in behind there a couple of times, going back and forth. And then we'll cut that off. And I like to go ahead and do that because it gets it out of the way. All right, so let's thread our long tail back on. All right, now you can leave it like this. You can weave this in and just use a safety pin if you want to pin it onto something. But if you want to add the brooch pin, make sure that it's going to latch from the bottom. So you want to lay it on there this way. And all you're going to do is just make stitches going around it, like this. And you do that as many times as you need. There we go. For your brooch pin to stay put. It gets crooked, just line it back up and put some more stitches in until you're comfortable with where you've got your brooch pin and that it's going to stay put. Like that. And then once you're happy with as many wraps as you've got, sewing it on there. I did about 8 or 9 there. I'm just going to go behind, weave my yarn that way, and then turn around and weave it back. There we go. Cut that off, and now I can wear my brooch pin. Oops. There we go. Now, if you want to buy these little brooch pins, like I said, you can get 6 or 8, or I don't know how many they put in there, for just a couple of dollars at your local Walmart or any craft store, really. So that's the butterfly, super simple. Now, if you want to add a little antenna on there, you can just make a braid and add it if you want to. I didn't, because I didn't think it was necessary. I like them just like that. So that's my little brooch, my little butterfly, broken butterfly brooch pin.